Good afternoon, eMERGE 2024. My name is Manny Rivera. I am the founder and the CEO for Triple Cyber Corporation. And today I have the honor and the privilege to introduce your keynote speaker, Lieutenant General Ross Coffman. Lieutenant General Coffman is the Deputy Commanding General for Futures Command. He served in Iraq, Haiti, Germany, as well as a whole bunch of other hosts of country. He he came into the military in 1989 as an armor officer, and right now his job in the Future Command is to be the pointed end of the spear to make sure that the Army, any threats or operational requirement they have, they avert those threats first, they assess them, and give the community a way, or the Army a way, to go ahead and act upon any threats from the technology side. Lieutenant General Coffman is getting ready to transition about 6 months, so he'll be a free guy to be out here doing this in the general public. But without further ado, I give you Lieutenant General Ross Coffman. Thank you. Good luck.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up. All right, I'm Ross Coffman. I came from Austin, Texas today, and I am so excited to be here. I love the city of Miami. I love the state of Florida, and I love soldiers. You know, wherever I go and speak, I generally see some old veterans. And not long ago, I was up in Michigan talking, and I came across a group of World War II veterans sitting in a circle. And what I've found when you're dealing with the greatest generation, that if you talk to them as if they were still 19 years old in the Army, they really respond. And so I walked up to this group and I said, "Hey, boys." And they looked up and said, "Oh, shit, it's a general." And I said, "I just got one question for you. How long would it take you and your team to whoop the Russians in Ukraine?" And they started murmuring amongst themselves and talking, and they said, 3 months. I said, 3 months? Why so long? He said, "Well, shoot, sir, we're about 100. So it's going to take them a little longer." Usually that joke kills. Come on. Is this thing on? All right. My entire life I was told that curiosity caused the early demise of the cat. And I've found since I've grown older that it is only curiosity that is going to allow us to succeed as a human race. And you're here because you're curious. You're curious about what's possible in the future. You're curious about how you can contribute. You're curious about those other individuals that are focused on being better humans, having a better earth, having a better army or armed forces, having a better state, city, education. You're curious people. And in Army Futures Command, so are we, because our future demands it. You know, there's certain things in the future of warfare that aren't going to change. It will always be a human endeavor. It will be human on human, because machines will not capitulate. And we have to understand that it is humans that will use technology to impose our will on anyone that stands in the way of the United States of America or its allies. The land will always be decisive. History has shown us that you cannot bomb or airstrike or use Navy to get a country to wave a white flag. It always takes women and men in uniform to close with and move into a position of relative advantage over our adversaries, so that we can then achieve victory, and that will only be done with the land force. You can promise yourselves that we will always act ethically. Your armed forces, unlike our adversaries, will always have ethical contact with our adversaries. I'll give you a small example. If you're looking through a night vision device, your soldiers will wait to positively identify that hotspot as an enemy before pulling a trigger. Our adversaries just detect the hotspot and shoot. We won't do that. So we must always remember that our ethical purpose on the battlefield will enable our credibility of action. We will continue to fight in urban environments. People live on the land. Urbanization is at an all-time high. If there's a future conflict, it will be in the city. So all those things won't change, but what will? We are in an age where space, stratospheric, air, and ground sensors are going to provide us more information than ever before. And with algorithmic solutions upon these sensors, we can identify, geolocate targets, and the enemy can do the same to us. The ability to have a transparent battlefield where it's hard to hide, it's hard not to be seen, applies equally to us and our adversaries. Our compute power is going to go up. Right now, we've proven we can do a petabyte a second, and we're only going to get faster from there. And while quantum doesn't measure itself in the same metric, quantum sensing, quantum computing, quantum encryption is coming right behind. I don't know when, but I know it's coming. When we fight on the battlefield, it's going to be more violent than ever before. And as a result of that violence, this is the worst part of the speech, you can expect up to 10,000 casualties a day for an unknown amount of time. And if we don't have the medical assets, the transportation assets, the evacuation assets available, we're going to lose a lot of great women and men in uniform. So what do you need? What do you need to do? How can you help? How can your company help the United States government, the United States of America, solve some of these challenges? If you're in the sensor and data space, we need you. If you're in the autonomy space, we need you. It takes 9 years to train a human to maneuver a vehicle like water over the earth so that you don't expose your underbelly, providing a vulnerability. You don't flank yourself to the adversary, providing an opportunity for the adversary. So we need help in off-road autonomy. But when I talk about autonomy, I often say to myself, do we really want autonomy? Is that the right word? And I know that it's out of the box, so I don't think we ever get it back in. But a fully autonomous system decides on its own what to do and not do. I don't want a fully autonomous system. I want a system that does everything that I direct it to do and does everything that or does not do anything that I do not want it to do. The only autonomous being on this earth that I want is a human, because we have conscience, we have logic, and we have reason. And machines lack that. So it's only by pairing humans and machines together on the battlefield that I think we'll be successful. On Mondays, I generally wake up and think that the responsibility of the robot is to get the human in a position of relative advantage so that the human can only do what a human can and exact our will upon an adversary. On Tuesdays, I wake up and I think, well, maybe it's more like a working dog. And that working dog is actually higher ranked than the soldier that cares for it, because that special skill. So it's the human's responsibility to get the working dog into a position to do what only that working dog can do. Maybe that's our relationship with robots. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, generally it's on Friday with a glass of brown water, I determine that it's both. Okay? There is no one answer. It's both. And we have to figure out the relationship between humans and machines and how they integrate. We will have robots. That's a fact. What are they doing on the battlefield? Who's fixing them? Are robots fixing robots? Are they moving out forward, in front of, or behind your forces? We're working through that and need your help. Hypersonics. Hypersonics are scary. What's even more scary is there are no counter hypersonics. There is not a solution to defeat a hypersonic weapon that can be fired from China or Russia and fly all the way around the world in an unknown path and land anywhere they want it to land. We need help with counter hypersonics. We need help with non-line of sight and on-the-move communication that's reliable and redundant. If you're in that space, let us know. Deception and signature management, both in the cyber world and the physical world. We need help with mass casualty evacuation. And there's a whole group of people that said there's a policy or it's not ethical to evacuate a human with a robot with autonomy on it. I'll speak for myself that if I'm wounded on any battlefield, I'm saying it publicly, put me on anything to get me back to the hospital. So we got to work through that piece. We need help with large language models or whatever comes next, not to replace the commander, but to replace the staff, the bureaucracy, the high amount of data that needs to be culled through to provide recommendations. We really need help with energy, how we generate, store, and distribute energy on the battlefield. Many people are hyped up about electronic vehicles or electric vehicles. I am too. But until I can fill the battery in the same amount of time as it takes me to fill a gas tank, I need to stick with hybrid. So how do you increase the speed of charging to the point where it makes sense on a future battlefield? You got additive manufacturing at the edge, printing parts. And the printing of parts today, the problem is solved. Static, hardened, in various materials. I mean, heck, we're even 3D printing houses. But how do you 3D print a complex solution to parts on the battlefield? That's not been solved yet. We need help with biotech, nanotech, both offensive and defensive nanotech. So how do you defend against a nanotechnology that's fired at you by your adversary so that you can continue to fight and your mechanics on your vehicles are not gummed up? We need help reducing weight. Material science moves so slow, as you all know, that it's often overlooked, but how do you lightweight titanium to the point where I can turn a 70-ton tank into a 55-ton tank? You know, I'm around technology every day. And many people are surprised that I'm not a huge advocate for tech. I'm a huge advocate for your soldiers. And I want technology that's going to make our soldiers better and safer on the battlefield. And that's what's at the core of my heart. That's all I care about, is making the women and men of this nation safer through technology. So with that, God bless the American soldier, God bless Miami, God bless Florida, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.